Every year, Q4 makes or breaks Etsy sellers. I've done over 500,000 in sales on Etsy, and in today's video, I'm breaking down the biggest mistakes people make in Q4 and how you can avoid them. All right, so the first mistake that I see very often is generic designs. And as you guys probably know, I hope by now, is that designs will make or break your shop. You need to have unique designs, not these generic ones, to be able to stand out. And that's because of the amount of competition nowadays on the platform. So first off, stop Merry Christmas designs, right? These generic Merry Christmas type of designs, I'm sorry, but they're not going to do well this Q4. So many other people do the exact same thing. You're not going to be able to stand out from the crowd and make sales, right? It's just too oversaturated. So stop making these generic Merry Christmas themed designs. Secondly, you want to obviously stop copying. Stop copying designs. First off, it's not allowed, right? It's not something that's allowed on the platform or anywhere else. You can't copy other people's designs, but what you can do is see the different elements that are working, combine them to make your own unique twist, right? And that is how you are going to stand out and add value to the market. Everybody else is copying. And this is a theme here. We don't want to do what everybody else is doing, right? If we want to be successful, we need to add value and we need to think outside the box. So stop copying. You want to target specific occasions, right? So what do I mean by occasions? So for example, it could be a birth of a child, or it could be a baptism, or it could be maybe an engagement or an anniversary, or whatever it is, you're buying your first house. So specific occasions that happen that kind of mark the event, if you will. Those types of designs sell very, very well on Q4 products, right? Q4 is October, November, December. That is the best time of year to sell on Etsy because the purchase volume is at its peak, right? So we want to target specific occasions, and in that way, we are adding value to our listings, but we're also kind of niching down in a way. And lastly, you want to target evergreen niches. Okay, so evergreen niches, if you don't know, evergreen basically means that it will sell all year round, right? So it's evergreen, it basically never dies. And one of the things I see a lot is that people, they just focus on very like Christmas themed things. And yeah, it might sell well in Q4, but after Q4, your shop is dead, right? Nobody's going to be purchasing those products because Christmas is finished. So we want to target evergreen niches because evergreen niches also do the best on Etsy in Q4. And if we can capitalize on that search volume in Q4, then we actually get our listings ranked because we're getting sales velocity on our listings. And that'll help us in the long run build our shop, and we can have consistent sales throughout the year. The next mistake I see is starting too late, okay? Now, as of recording this video, we are in the month of September. So that means October is coming up, which is a part of Q4. October, November, December, they're coming up. It is not too late now to start pumping out listings. But one of the things I see is that people are starting just way, way, way too late. They're posting their listings in December and expecting them to sell. That's just not going to cut it. One point I have here is that Q4 shoppers start early, right? Now, some people, believe it or not, are actually purchasing things for Christmas in the months of August, July even. Now, you're not going to see a lot of sales in those months from those Christmas products, but it is definitely a good thing to think about for your shop to start designing as early as possible so that you have time for your listings to rank and start making sales. Another key aspect here is that Etsy needs time, right? They need to understand what your listing's all about. And if you're a brand new shop, a lot of the time they need even more time because they are kind of getting used to, okay, what is your shop about? Are there specific niches that you're targeting? They need to understand you as a seller so that they can push it to the correct buyer, essentially, right? If you start too late, then competitors will get ahead, right? Which obviously we don't want. We want to be that person that's ahead of schedule. We don't want our competitors to take up all the sales, obviously, right? We want to get our products out there as early as possible. So if we're waiting, then the chances are that other people aren't waiting and they're capitalizing on sales while you aren't making any. So start designing as early as possible. Another thing you lose if you're listing too late is lost testing window, right? If you're a new shop, you don't necessarily know what designs will work on what products or whatever, right? So the earlier you start, the more you can start testing designs to see if they actually sell, if they're getting some traction, favorites, likes, whatever. And as I always preach, we want to keep doing more of what's working. So if you are starting too late, then you won't be able to capitalize on this and be able to check what actually is working. So again, start as early as possible. If you're realizing you might already be behind, don't worry, I can help you. The fastest way is to book a call with me. I'll have a link below in the description and we can get your shop on track. I'll personally walk you through what you can do and I'll take a look at your shop and we'll see if we can work together. Now, again, I'll drop a link below in the description. You can watch the video that I've linked down there and also book a free call with me and let's work together so that you can see some sales and some good growth in your shop for this Q4. So with that being said, let's move along. The next thing I see a lot of is generic products, right? Again, this is a big no-no in my book. I've always been a big believer in coming with unique products to the market so that you can stand out. So obviously, over saturation is a big issue, right? So if you're selling t-shirts like 99% of every other seller, you're not going to see proper success, most likely, right? Now, I'm not saying you can't necessarily, but the likelihood is much lower. Another thing with t-shirts is their profit margins are so low that it's going to be hard for you to actually make good profit. So keep that in mind. We don't want generic products. We want unique products so that we can stand out from the crowd. Yeah. So this point here as well, choose unique products. Extremely, extremely important. Now, for example, Printify, which is like the go-to supplier for everyone. Printify has a huge catalog, right? There's tons of different products to choose from. So why not take advantage of that and start putting out something that not many other people are doing? Again, so that you can stand out and make sales. You're adding value to the marketplace by coming with new types of products. So choose unique products. There's also another supplier that I use a lot called Merchize. And For example, one of the things they're very good at are Christmas ornaments, and which is perfect for Q4. Now, Christmas ornaments sell insanely, insanely well in Q4. And the cool thing about Merchize is they offer unique ornament types that'll really, really get you traction. I myself got a lot of traction last Q4 just selling ornaments. Now, I've made a tutorial on Merchize. I'll have it linked below in the description. Go ahead and check that out. It's very, very good. And I think if you follow the steps, you'll be making some sales this Q4. And lastly, obviously, like we already touched on, provide value. That is essentially what we're doing with our unique designs, our unique products. That is how we ourselves can add value to the marketplace, like I've already said countless times. And that is what's going to make you get sales. Another key thing I see is bad mockups. Okay, so people, what they do is they overuse stock images, essentially, right? Stock images. So what I mean by that is your generic Printify mockups, right? Or Place It or whatever it is. They're very, very generic. And in my experience, they're not really going to do well, okay? You want to make some proper mockups, again, so that you can stand out from the crowd. Another one I see is bad AI mockups. So what I mean by that is obviously AI generated mockups that don't even look real, right? Say for example, what I've seen a lot of is people in the actual mockup, and you can tell their face, it just doesn't look quite right. It doesn't look real. And Etsy also doesn't like this. They might actually suppress your listing if they determine that it's an AI mockup. So you can use AI, but don't rely, maybe mix in some proper human photos in an AI background or whatever, right? Just don't do like a full-on AI mockup. We want to make the thumbnail realistic, right? We want to make it realistic. Now, the thumbnail is the first image in the listing, right? And that is what is essentially going to stop the scroll of that Etsy buyer. So we want to make it look realistic. And again, this kind of ties into what I said here with the bad AI mockups or the overused stock images. We don't want our product to look fake. We want it to look real, because if it looks real, then it's going to convert better, right? In a marketplace that has an oversaturation of mockups that don't look real, then looking real is really going to help you stand out. Again, another way is to utilize video. Okay, so there is a video slot in your mockup images or your mockup spots, right? So why not use that? Order samples of the product that you're selling, make a video, and put that on your listing, right? That is really going to add value to your listing. People love that, and that's going to increase your conversion rate for sure. So those are the most common mistakes I see in Q4. Now, I hope you got value from this. If you have, hit that like button. Now, again, I want to just preface, if you want to take advantage of Q4, go ahead, book a call with me. We'll walk through it together, and let's work together to make your shop a successful shop, not just now in Q4, but also for the next year to come. It's a very small investment to work with me. So go ahead, click that free call, and we'll walk through it. Again, with that being said, I will see you all in the next video.